My name is Maia Warner, and I graduated from Colorado School of Mines in 2020 with a degree in chemical and biochemical engineering. And then currently I work for Barry Wimiller Design Group as a project engineer. So a project engineer, I kind of like to describe it as being a project manager light, I guess. It's not as technically focused as some other engineering professions are, but it is pretty heavily logistically focused. And project engineers kind of need to know a little bit about everything in order to work with all of our contractors and coworkers and other people that are on projects. And so I do a lot of communication between my firm, which is a consulting firm, and our clients and their other contracted out jobs. I went to Colorado School of Mines for chemical engineering because I really enjoyed biology and chemistry in high school, right? And so I always kind of pictured myself in a process engineering role. But in college, I actually started working on MAC, the Activities Planning Council. And so I got really heavily invested in planning things and logistics. And so I knew at that point that I had kind of found something that I enjoyed outside of science and technology and STEM and all of that. And so I wanted to find something that would keep me entertained, as in continue assigning me new projects that I have to keep learning on, and then B, something that wasn't so heavily technical, because that just wasn't how I was fitting in my degree. And so I decided the best way to try and combine that would be through project engineering. And that actually ended up working out really, really well, because now it's kind of I'm not planning events anymore, obviously, but I am planning I'm billion-dollar projects. And so it's interesting to see it all come together. And it's crazy because in the industry that I work in, a lot of times it's food and beverage, but there's so much knowledge that you don't learn in college. And I think that's true in a lot of other engineering professions too. You just kind of learn on the job, and then you don't really feel like you're learning anything until you look back a year later and you're realizing that you're answering technical emails from your clients without having to ask for approval first or clarification. So it's that kind of thing it's the little things, I think, that make it exciting. Yeah, so I actually got a job offer from them from the Colorado School of Mines Spring Career Fair in 2020. Unfortunately, 2020 happened and the COVID and everything. So they actually had to rescind my initial job offer. And then I ended up working at a company in Boulder for about a year before before my company came off of their hiring freeze. And then I got that job in 2021. I made a good connection with someone at Career Fair and then at my interview, and then just kept that line of communication open throughout that entire year. And he was kind of my inside advocate when it came time to hire again. So it worked out. But yeah. I definitely went through the 5 stages of grief or however many stages there are when I got my offer rescinded. Unfortunately, it took so long, I think, for everyone to adjust to the pandemic and everything shutting down for however many weeks, that it took a while for them to actually rescind the offer. And so I hadn't heard from them in a while because they were waiting to see what was going to happen. I think I got the offer 2 weeks before March 16th, which was when everyone announced that the state and school and everything was shutting down for 2 weeks. And at that point, I was E-Day's chair. And so that was around the time that I found out E-Days was going to be canceled and that we had to redo that whole thing. And so I was going through the emotional, stress and disappointment of all of that, because I'd been planning that since May the previous year. And then realizing that my spring break trip was going to be canceled, my senior year spring break trip, all of the things that I had been looking forward to at the end of senior year were going to be canceled. And I hope that's not something that's going to happen again. But I think it took me a week or so to realize that the world's going to keep going. Yes, this sucks, but right now you don't have the time or really the luxury of being able to kind of wallow, which is what I really wanted to do. But just like getting back on your, like, take the time that you need to mourn the loss of a job that you've lost, if like that's what's happened, if it's a job that you've lost or an offer that you've lost or an offer that you thought you were going to get, and then give yourself that time, and then tell yourself at some point, give yourself like 3 days. At the end of that 3 days, okay, we're getting back up, we're gonna keep moving, something needs to be done, it's one step at a time. And so I think my own ability to present data has been a very surprising thing. I always kind of expected that people would care more about data analysis and like the results of that data. But through like the big successes of my career, my like engineering career, at least so far, have been when I've been able to put together like a spreadsheet of insane amount of data, but also make it accessible to someone who doesn't understand how to use Excel, and like being able to do that. And that's how I've actually not like made a name for myself at the company, but like still like the people that I work with know Maia loves Excel. And if you need someone to be able to present data in a way that's going to make sense, she has that ability. And so that's been something for sure, like just the ability to be honest with your clients and show all the data in any ways has been kind of a surprise for sure. It's a big transition out of college to like adult life. And they tell you that in like middle school, right? It's going to be a big transition to high school. In high school, they tell you it's going to be a big transition into college. In college, they're going to tell you it's a big transition to grad school or to your like actual adult career. And I think in each one of those transitions, if you look back on your own life, you've probably noticed that there's some big changes that have happened to yourself. In like, you're not the same person you were in middle school, I hope. You're not the same person that you were in high school. And so coming out of college, you have that option to really like define who you are. And that doesn't need to just be in work. Don't let work define your life. Find a hobby that you can like really invest your time in. And that will really, it's the same thing as like in college, right? Where everyone's telling you that all companies want rounded employees, right? They want you to have experience in a lot of different areas. And I think that goes for life too. Every time that I've had some kind of success in work or in some of my other adventures outside of work, it's been because of experiences that I've had in some of those other areas, and so I would say to always be willing to be a yes and person, especially now that you're coming out of college and you have the free time that you probably haven't had for the last 4+ years. And yeah, that's something that I'm still adjusting to. Like, I'll feel like I'm sitting at home watching TV in the afternoon or in the evening and like feel like I should be doing homework or like I should be being productive. And like, that's not, you can give yourself some grace. You're graduating from mines. Like, you've put in the work. You deserve to be happy,